Hey guys, we're going to look at here. This is the bonus video for our weekly Pauper article, and I'm taking a look at Pauper Prismatic Singleton, which is kind of a big fringe format. I only know maybe 4 regular players who I see playing it. But this is a game I played. This will be against a regular Pauper, a regular Prismatic deck. My opponent was playing Singleton, however. Kind of the fun part of this is just, talking about it's fun to sit down, and I have on many occasions beaten these decks using big expensive cards, and I think that's one of the best things about this format. Not so much the deck, it doesn't really matter the deck, but it's really a great thing about this format is that anything can happen. When you're playing with a deck of this size, you can do everything possible to try and kind of slight things and make it not seem so big, but the fact of the matter is that it is a big deck format, and just it's very random. Anything can happen. So this is the opening hand. I'm definitely going to keep this. We have 4 lands available to us and a turn 3 play, as well as some control options with the Mold Shambler and Dismantling Blow. So we're going to get things going, and as you see, my opponent throws down Volcanic Island. Dual lands are very important in a deck like this because color fixing is everything. Pass this along. He is not going to make a turn 2 play. I am going to make my turn 3 Seagate Oracle. Now my options here are Brainstorm and Resounding Thunder, and both of these are great cards. I really love the Thunder in the mid to late game when you have the 8 mana available to cycle it. But I'm going to take the Brainstorm because we are in the early game, and setting up my hand is going to be more important at this point in time. So, opponent making his first play is going to put a face-down Morph card. Now I get Halimar Depths, which is going to be great. It gives us a lot of options as far as rearranging our deck. Now you're going to see I'm going to pay the 1 here to Brainstorm first. Now I have a lot of stuff going on here. I have 2 mana available to me, and I will be able to cycle Gleam of Resistance. So what I want to do with Brainstorm is choose 2 cards to put on top of my deck that I don't want anymore, that I can shuffle away. The 2 I'm going to choose here are the Plains, basic Plains. I have other white mana sources. And the Bog, actually, because playing this in the early game, it's not going to get very good use because my opponent has nothing in his graveyard. You really want that in the mid to late game, so we're going to shuffle those 2 cards away by cycling this Gleam of Resistance and fetching out a basic land. Pretty much anything could have worked there. I have all the colors available to me, but again, you see, I made this play before I dropped a land, so what I did is I fetched the Swamp so that I could cycle the Barren Moor and draw a card off that. And it worked out great in my favor because I do get Chittering Rats, which is a lot of fun. Opponent's going to attack, and I am actually going to block here, just in case he's bluffing and does not quite have the colors yet, or the mana available to actually flip this card. Unfortunately for me, he does have the colors he needs and the mana available, and flips this to reveal. The game will catch up here. There we go. The Bane of the Living. Now this is a great card in this format. He's going to pay 0 for X, so it's just going to flip, and his 4/3 is going to kill off my Oracle. So, my turn here, I am going to start off by playing the Chittering Rats. And this is going to, as always, screw my opponent by skipping his draw, which is fantastic. And now I have some options. You get a lot of bounce with this, the depths and the chambers, so we have a lot of options as far as rearranging the top cards of our deck, or at least seeing over multiple turns by bouncing the depths. But what I want to actually do here instead is I'm going to play the Simic Growth Chamber, and what that's going to do is allow me to play Tree of Tails on turn 6, and then I can play Mold Shambler kicked on turn 6 and not have to wait any further than that. So opponent attacks through. I am going to take 4 damage. There's no point in chump blocking at this early point of the game. Plenty of time to take a little damage here. So I am going to pass to second main phase because my opponent's got mana available and 6 cards in hand, so I figured there was something else coming, and it always doesn't hurt to do that and attack first. He does use Fire and Ice there to kill off my rat, and that's fine. We are going to kick the Mold Shambler and kill off his Volcanic Island. He was a little bit mana screwed, so keeping him out of those 2 colors is definitely going to work in my advantage. Some people might sit here and say, oh, well, this is obviously why you won. But the truth of the matter is, anything can happen in these games, and it's very easy to make a comeback from this point, especially, against a hand like mine where I only have 1 creature and I'm sitting on kind of a lot of land. So he is going to decide to attack through, and I do decide to trade creatures. I have other options to replay creatures later on, and I would rather just, use that because I am a little bit light when it comes to creature control. Here you see another opportunity to shuffle cards away, and this is where you want to really, use depths to its best ability. My reveal cards, I put them in a certain order, and I basically have decided at this point that I did not really need or want any of those 3 cards. There was a land, there was a Doomblade. My opponent's clearly not playing creatures anytime soon, and there was a Ninja. So I'm going to shuffle those away with Cultivate, draw lands, and see what we come up with instead on the next draw. Now this is another thing, when you have creatures like this, you don't really want to, at this point in time, cycle that away for land. We have plenty of land to play it, and plenty of extra land in hand. We have all the colors we need. There's no need to cycle it at all. This is, another thing I love about this format, is the fact that we get an opportunity to play creatures like this. This zombie is a piece of junk, basically, and would never see play, but you're actually going to see him land on the board. I start off with Blightning, and I have plenty of mana available to me to play other stuff as well, including this awesome zombie card. So, opponent's still stuck on 2 lands, definitely hurts him, but again, anything could happen in this. It's very easy for you to make a comeback in this format, especially, like I said, against this, where I'm just completely land flooded. I've got nothing but a 2 attack creature coming through. So, I used an Evolving Wilds there. I think perhaps a better thing that would have given me an opportunity if I was patient enough to use the depths in other ways to, again, look at the top cards, decide if it's something I want, and shuffle it away. But, I'm feeling blood at this point in time. I'm really going for it, not making my best plays. So, attacking through, opponent does hit 4 lands now, and is able to use Beseech the Queen to fetch out land. It's never a good feeling in this game, or this format, when you have to use a tutor to find a land card. That just tells you you're not in a good place at all. But he is now going to be well off, and this is, like I said, this is every opportunity for him to make a comeback. I'm only 3 life ahead of him, and anything could happen. Now you see another option. This is great, and I'm going to mention this in the article, but the fact that you can use depths and stuff like this to continue to look at the top of your deck and decide if there's any value there. I get a land, a creature kill, and a climber, so going to put those there, and going to wait till next turn. I put the Kavu on top because that's the 1 card out of the 3 that I actually want, so I'm going to be able to, play that next turn and shuffle away. So, opponent puts down the Orchard. Here comes the attack first, moving to the second main phase. And now we're going to have the opportunity in the second main. Like I said, I know the top cards. It's a Spinning Darkness on top and then a Mountain, and I really don't want those, so I'm going to use the Panorama to shuffle those away. And I'm like, this is the important thing here, is after I've done that, then I'm playing the Climber. I don't want those cards, so definitely don't want to be drawing one of them. So definitely play your Climber after you shuffle. Opponent taps, decides to play his Harrow. He's finally going to be at all 5 colors. And, again, every opportunity to come back in this game. Definitely, if you're not a Prismatic player, just check it out. It's a lot of fun, in my opinion. So he plays a Hibernation's End, which is a great card, but it's a little slow at this point in the game, at the very least. When you're behind like this, having this is going to maybe get you a chump blocker if you can just keep alive for a couple extra turns. He probably needed at least 1 creature kill to make this really work, and more importantly, me not having Dismantling Blow, because at the end of turn I still have mana available to me that I am going to be able to kill it. But had he, 2 turns with that thing, it would have been out of hand. So here's another creature that I drawn, the Flameborn Hellion. This is a great one, and another one where I said, just really didn't see play in most Pauper decks because of, the cost, and it doesn't have trample, and the trample's really the thing that holds it up. So here's what comes down, evasive action. Unfortunately for him, even though he does have all 5 colors available to him, I have more than enough mana available to me to pay the 5 to prevent the counterspell. So the Hellion's going to come down, and I am going to be able to swing through for the win. But, even though my opponent was held up, I thought this game was still a great opportunity to check out how the decks interact and get you just a bit more of a view of how Prismatic plays through.